and I was like, look, it should be rated R. That's what the fans are gonna want. It should be a person in a suit, and it should be very silly. It shouldn't like he shouldn't be in body armor. We shouldn't like have to explain that like nanobots are what's giving him his powers, or like explain it
Yeah.
somehow that make it seem credible.
All the callbacks that Macon put in, there's lots of Troma callbacks for Troma fans. Pretty esoteric, some of them.
Performing to her best with the acting, even though Peter's voice was going to be dubbed, because she
Yeah.
knew that would be the best for my performance and everyone else's that she would work with.
The Toxic Avenger.
That's what the kids are calling him. I think it's swell.
So, first off, I guess we'll get into the simplest question that I have. Do you remember the first time that you saw the original Toxic Avenger?
I totally do. I absolutely remember. I was at my friend Jamie's house. My other friend Andy's older brother Mike had given us the VHS tape and was like, "Y'all got to watch this." This was the '80s, so that's how you found cool stuff. Was somebody's older brother would pass it off to you, and we were just like, "What the fuck is this?" Just the whole tone of it was so sort of sleazy and trashy in a very hilarious way, and we were exactly the right age.
All right, everybody, drop your tacos or I'll blow your brains out.
The sense of humor was influential, but also I may have seen other movies that I'm not remembering, but that was the one that I remember feeling like it took me a while to understand what I was feeling, but I was like, oh wait, these are just regular dudes that just had a camera and they made their own movie. And it's not Star Wars and it's not, Raiders. It's like they did it in their hometown. And it felt very accessible and it was in that way even more so than the sense of humor. It was very inspirational. Like, oh fuck it, we can do this. And so we kind of carried that forward. I never had the plan or the idea to like one day I'll do a Toxic Avenger. That never occurred to me, but the inspiration of it did carry forward as far as like you can get your friends together and grab a camera and figure out how to make something that's funny and entertaining.
Was that your main inspiration for wanting to update the film for modern times, like just getting to work with your friends and make it yourself?
Yeah, yeah. It kind of like it was like I mean, the first thing that happened was an invitation to pitch to write the script. And if I'm being truly honest, my first reaction was like, why are we doing this? The first one was so singular, like what could be gained from it, and also I was kind of worried that like I bet they're probably talking about like a PG-13 version. I bet they're talking about like a more family friendly version or something. And I had no reason to expect that. That was just like what I was like, eh. So but I ended up pitching for it, and I was like, look, it should be rated R. That's what the fans are gonna want. It should be a person in a suit, and it should be very silly. It shouldn't like he shouldn't be in body armor. We shouldn't like have to explain that like nanobots are what's giving him his powers, or like explain it
Yeah.
somehow that make it seem credible. And the guy I was pitching to, who I didn't know at the time, was a Troma fan from way back. He was the executive that had chased these rights. And he heard that and he was like, exactly, let's do it. And so then it kind of got the ball rolling from there. And it did feel like this would be an opportunity to with high quality cameras and a cast of actual movie actors make the type of movie that we were making in our backyard in sixth grade. It's absolutely what it was.
There was initial screenings in 2023. Can you explain a little about why it took so long for it to finally receive a wide release?
I can give you what my speculation is, but I was not in the mix on that. But we had good screenings we had really good screenings at Fantastic Fest and Beyond Fest. At that time, the way I understand it is that like the streamers were kind of condensing what they were buying. Uh, Things were not getting greenlit. Things were not getting purchased for distribution in the same way as they had been. And I think if something was not deemed to be, oh, this is a home run, crowd pleasing, middle of the road movie, then it was just not attractive to people. And, you know, somewhere along the way, there was this like idea that like this movie is unreleasable. And either like I'd heard versions that it was like, it's so gory that it's unreleasable. It's like, it's not fucking gory at all. It's like the Red Wedding episode of Game of Thrones is way fucking more gory than this movie.
No.
Um, or that it's like it's so niche and weird that it's unreleasable. And again, I guess it's a little niche, but it's pretty wholesome.
Summon the nuts.
It's pretty, I think most people would dig it. Anyways,
Yeah.
um, so it had a hard time finding a home, and that was kind of nerve-wracking, but Legendary kept at it, and they eventually landed with Cineverse, who reacted exactly the way that I was hoping they would, which is like, yeah, dude, this is a crowd pleaser. This is a fun summertime, get everybody in the theater, everybody laughs. It's like a good rock and roll fun time. And that was the spirit with which we made it. And so that's how they've been marketing it, and that's how I hope audiences receive it, is just kind of like it's like a rock and roll party movie.
I have to ask, what was it like to revisit Toxic Avenger all these years later as a producer?
Well, we've been active toxically because we put out, we have the cartoons and toys and a lot of stuff. And Toxie makes a lot of appearances. And but to have a $50 million movie with this incredible cast with, Peter Dinklage, what a great idea. And they all love the movie. I was just with the cast at Comic-Con. Actually, I've been with them a few times, but they're all pretty deep into Troma's oeuvre. And I was on the bus with them at San Diego Comic-Con, and they were talking about the Citizen Toxie, because that's the fourth one, which is not terribly well known. But I think Elijah asked somebody about terror. Elijah asked someone about terra firmage, and Jacob Tremblay had seen it, and there was a real. And then in Bulgaria, everybody was a fan of Troma, and they were all. It was a lot of love. And Macon Blair, he's like James Gunn. Everyone who works around him loves him, and he is like a radioactive love machine, and brilliant. I was so happy that he was chosen to do this. It's a dream come true.
You have a great little cameo where you actually share a scene with Macon. How did that
Yeah,
come
yeah.
about?
I have lips like a woman. What more can I say? And I know how to use them. He's a fan, he put, hey, James, I'm in Superman. Fucking, James Gunn. And I'm in Peace. I'm in James. I'm in a lot of movies by Troma. Troma, how do you say it? Alumni. Well, that's my father said. If you rub a hunchback's hump, you get good luck. And I think I'm James Gunn's hump, hunch. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
probably Macon Blair's. I hope. Anyway, it was a wonderful family. It really the stars all were into it, and they were nice and pleasant. I could look them in the eye, which I was told not to. I was at a film festival where I was told, don't look. If you happen to cross paths with Russell Crowe, do not look him in the eye. This is the opposite. These people were Troma people, even though they're, big stars.
So how aware were you of the original Toxic Avenger before signing on to this?
Hearing about the script was my introduction to this. I wouldn't have been able to watch these films as a child, so this was my introduction. But it's exciting to be a part of a film with such a cult following. It really, really is. We're bringing in a lot of these classic fans that enjoyed the classic original films, but.
Yeah.
It's exciting because we're bringing in a new audience who can enjoy this film for the first time and then revisit the old ones. And yeah, it's exciting to see that.
Peter Dinklage is the Toxic Avenger. I think that's what draws so many people that don't know anything about Toxie in. What was your favorite part of getting to work with him?
I mean, just watching him work, really. I think I've just learned so much from working with so many talented people. So any chance I get to watch someone like Peter work is just such a privilege, really. I mean, he's just so talented.
That part's pretty good.
Well, I know he's not under the makeup as Toxie, so how was the experience of talking with Louisa while she's performing all of Peter's movements and mannerisms? How was that? Was it limiting?
I mean, she is just such a trooper. I mean, the conditions that she was in with all that thick latex or I'm not sure, maybe that's not what it was made out of, but that thick costume, and we filmed this in summer too in Bulgaria, so it was pretty hot, and she had to do a lot of physical things in that suit for a long time, but she was just so strong, and so I was so impressed, and just it's such a hard thing to do to have to act through that, and she on the performing side of things, she took the time to make sure that she was performing to her best with the acting, even though Peter's voice was going to be dubbed, because she knew that would be the best for my performance and everyone else's that she worked with. So as an actor, I really just appreciate that devotion.
The Toxic Avenger.
That's what the kids are calling him. I think it's swell.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. Joe Blow was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.